I lent my sister $10,000 to save her business, but she called me selfish. I never thought twice about lending Olivia the money. She was my sister. Family. When she called me, voice shaking with panic, telling me her boutique was on the verge of shutting down, I didn't hesitate. "I just need a little help," she had pleaded. "The business is fine, I just hit a rough patch. If I can hold on a little longer, I know I can turn things around." She sounded desperate, and for as long as I could remember, I had always been the one to fix things for her. So I transferred $10,000 into her account that same night. No contract, no repayment plan, just trust. At first, I didn't worry when she didn't mention the money. She was probably focused on saving her store, right? But as weeks turned into months, something felt off. Olivia wasn't just avoiding the topic, she was avoiding me. Calls went to voicemail, texts were left unread. Meanwhile, on social media, she was thriving. Pictures of expensive dinners, new designer bags, weekend getaways, nothing about a struggling business. It didn't make sense. Where was the stress? The long hours? The sleepless nights she had cried to me about? I finally confronted her one evening at our parents' house. She acted surprised, like the money was a distant memory. "Oh, that," she said casually. "Things are still tight, but I'll pay you back when I can." No remorse, no explanation, just a dismissive shrug, like she had borrowed a few bucks for coffee instead of thousands of dollars. I should have left it there. I should have seen the warning signs, but instead, I gave her more time. And that was my biggest mistake. The final straw came when I saw her pull up in a brand new luxury car. It was sleek, expensive, the kind of car someone drowning in business debt shouldn't even be thinking about. I felt my stomach twist, anger simmering beneath my skin. She wasn't struggling, she was thriving, just not with her own money. I didn't wait this time. I showed up at her boutique the next morning, catching her off guard as she greeted customers with that fake businesswoman smile. "We need to talk," I said, voice tight. She sighed, clearly annoyed, but followed me into the back office. "Look, if this is about the money again." "Of course it's about the money, Olivia," I snapped. "You told me you were struggling. That you needed help to keep this place open. But now you're buying new cars, going on vacations, where is my 10 grand? She scoffed, leaning back against the desk like I was the one being unreasonable. "God, you're so obsessed with money," she muttered. "I said I'd pay you back." "When?" My voice rose, my patience gone. "You've had months, Olivia. No payments, no updates, just excuses." And that's when she flipped the script. "Wow," she said, crossing her arms. "I can't believe how selfish you're being. I'm your sister, and all you care about is a stupid loan? Do you even know how much pressure I'm under?" I stared at her, stunned. She wasn't even pretending to be remorseful. In her mind, I was the bad guy for expecting her to honor her word. That's when it hit me. Olivia had never planned to pay me back. Not once. To her, I wasn't family. I was a bank. And now that I wanted my money, she was painting me as the villain. Fine. If that's how she wanted to play it, she had no idea what was coming. I walked out of Olivia's boutique that day with my blood boiling. I had given her every chance to do the right thing, but instead of even pretending to be remorseful, she turned it around on me. Like I was the problem. Like I was the selfish one for expecting my own money back. The sheer audacity of it made my skin crawl. But I didn't yell. I didn't cause a scene. That would have given her exactly what she wanted, a reason to paint me as some bitter, money-obsessed sibling trying to bring her down. No, I needed to be smart. Olivia thought she had gotten away with it, but she had underestimated me. The first thing I did was talk to our parents. I didn't expect them to take sides, but I at least thought they'd be disappointed in her. Instead, I was met with uncomfortable glances and excuses. "You know how Olivia is," Mom sighed, stirring her tea like this was some minor family disagreement. "She's always been a little irresponsible with money." "She's your sister," Dad added, as if that somehow justified her outright theft. "She'll pay you back eventually. Just give her time." I laughed bitterly. Time for what? To spend even more of my money? Neither of them had an answer for that. And that's when I realized, Olivia had them wrapped around her finger just like she did everyone else. She had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, and they weren't about to shatter that illusion. Fine. If they wouldn't hold her accountable, I would. The first thing I did was dig into her finances. I had never cared about Olivia's spending habits before, but now I paid attention. I knew for a fact that she was blowing money on luxuries, and I wasn't the only one who had noticed. A few mutual friends told me she had been bragging about her business success at parties, acting like she had built her boutique from the ground up with nothing but hard work and her money. That made my stomach turn. Then I found something even worse. Olivia hadn't used my money to save her store. The boutique had been struggling long before she called me crying for help. The loan she had begged me for? She had used it to clear her personal debts, credit cards, overdue rent, even a few shopping sprees. My $10,000 had never been about her business. I clenched my jaw. She hadn't just scammed me, she had lied to my face, knowing full well she was never going to pay me back. And now, she was acting like she was some self-made success while calling me selfish? That was the moment I decided I wasn't letting this go. Olivia wanted to play dirty? Fine. But she was about to learn that I wasn't the sibling she could walk all over anymore. I had the truth on my side. And when I was done, everyone was going to know exactly what kind of person she really was. I wasn't going to let Olivia walk away from this unscathed. She thought she could twist the narrative, make me look greedy while she paraded around as some self-made entrepreneur. But I had the truth, and I was about to use it. The first step was planting seeds of doubt. I started casually bringing up the loan in front of family and mutual friends, making sure to phrase it carefully. "Hey, Olivia, any update on that $10,000 loan?" I'd ask with a friendly smile whenever we were at a family gathering. She'd stiffen, eyes darting around as if she was searching for an escape. "I told you I'll pay you back," she'd mutter under her breath, hoping no one would press further. But that's the thing. Once you put an idea in people's heads, they start to notice things. They started questioning how Olivia could afford luxury handbags and weekend getaways while supposedly struggling with money. And the more people talked, the more cracks in her story began to show. She must have sensed the shift because suddenly, she was the one reaching out. "Why are you trying to embarrass me?" she hissed over the phone one evening. "Do you really care more about money than your own sister?" I scoffed. "I care about being respected, Olivia. You took my money and lied. If you don't want people to know the truth, maybe you shouldn't have scammed me." She hung up on me. I smiled. The pressure was getting to her. Olivia's image was built on deception, and now that foundation was crumbling. People were starting to ask questions she couldn't answer. Family members, once blindly supportive, were beginning to see through her act. And then, I found the perfect opportunity to strike. She had planned a fancy dinner for our parents' anniversary, inviting close relatives and friends to a high-end restaurant. As expected, she positioned herself as the doting daughter, flaunting her generosity. "Mom, Dad, I insisted on covering the bill," she announced dramatically. "Because family always comes first." I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed. "That's interesting," I mused. "You still haven't paid me back, but you can drop hundreds of dollars on dinner?" The room fell into an awkward silence. Olivia's face paled. "Well, why would you bring that up here?" she stammered, trying to laugh it off. "Why not?" I shrugged. "You keep saying I care too much about money, but you owe me money, Olivia. And instead of paying me back, you're out here acting like the most generous person in the room." The tension was suffocating. Whispers spread across the table. My parents looked uncomfortable, finally realizing how deep Olivia's deception ran. She opened her mouth, probably searching for another excuse. Olivia sat there, frozen, her fork clutched tightly in her hand as if it could somehow shield her from the truth I had just dropped on the table. The conversations around us had died down, leaving only the soft clinking of silverware and the occasional awkward cough. People were waiting for her response, expecting some kind of explanation, anything to justify how she could afford extravagant dinners while conveniently forgetting about the debt she owed me. She forced a laugh, though it came out shaky. "Oh my God, you're really bringing this up now? At Mom and Dad's anniversary dinner?" She tried to sound amused, but the crack in her voice betrayed her. "It's just money. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table. "Because it's my money, Olivia." My voice was calm, controlled. "And you didn't just borrow it. You lied about why you needed it. You played the struggling business owner, begged me for help, and then spent it on yourself. That's why it's a big deal." Murmurs spread through the table. A few relatives exchanged knowing glances, like they had suspected something was off but didn't want to say anything until now. My parents looked deeply uncomfortable, as if they couldn't decide whether to be angry at Olivia or embarrassed that they had been blind to her behavior for so long. Olivia's eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape. She was out of tricks. No fake tears, no dramatic victim act, just the cold, hard truth staring her in the face, and she hated it. She slammed her glass down, forcing a tight smile. "Fine. You want your money back, you'll get it. Happy now?" I didn't blink. I'll believe it when I see it." Her jaw tightened. She had never expected me to fight back like this. In her mind, I was supposed to stay silent, to just accept that she would never pay me back and move on. But I wasn't playing that role anymore. Dinner ended in tense silence. Olivia barely touched her food, and when the check arrived, she hesitated for a moment before reluctantly pulling out her card. It was probably the first time after years that she had actually spent her own money on something instead of using someone else's. Afterward, our parents pulled me aside. My father sighed heavily. "That was a lot," he admitted. My mother frowned. "Did you really have to bring it up at dinner?" I crossed my arms. Would there ever have been a right time? Or would we have just kept pretending Olivia didn't steal from me? They didn't have an answer for that. I saw it in their eyes. Doubt. Olivia's golden child image had taken a serious hit tonight, and she knew it. I walked away from that dinner with something better than an apology. I walked away knowing Olivia had finally been exposed. And no matter what she did next, she couldn't rewrite the truth this time. After that disastrous dinner, Olivia did what she always did when she was backed into a corner. She disappeared. No texts, no calls, no passive-aggressive social media posts. Just silence. At first, I wondered if she was actually ashamed, if maybe she had taken a long look in the mirror and realized how badly she had screwed up. But I knew better. Olivia wasn't the type to reflect or apologize. She was just regrouping, waiting for the right moment to crawl back and twist the story in her favor. And sure enough, a few weeks later, she finally reached out. A single text. "Olivia. Let's talk." I ignored it. I had nothing left to say, but Olivia didn't give up that easily. She showed up at my apartment the next evening, knocking like we were just two siblings catching up. When I opened the door, she stood there in designer heels, holding a cup of overpriced coffee like it was some kind of peace offering. "Can we not make this a thing?" She sighed, stepping inside uninvited. "I get it, you're mad. But we're family. You really want to ruin our relationship over money?" I stared at her, amazed by how effortlessly she dismissed everything. "You ruined it the second you took my money and lied about it," I shot back. "You spent months dodging me, acting like I was the problem. And now that everyone knows the truth, now you want to talk?" She groaned, rolling her eyes. "I was going to pay you back." I folded my arms. "Then do it." She hesitated, shifting uncomfortably. "I don't have it right now." I laughed coldly. "Of course you don't." Olivia sighed dramatically, like I was being difficult. "Look, I don't have 10 grand lying around, but I can pay you back little by little." "No," I said simply. "I'm done playing games with you, Olivia. You had every opportunity to do the right thing, and you chose not to. So now, I'm taking action." Her face paled. "What does that mean?" I grabbed a folder from the counter and handed it to her. She flipped it open and skimmed the pages, her expression shifting from annoyance to pure panic. "Are you serious?" she breathed. "Dead serious," I said. "You don't pay me back in full, I take you to court." Olivia exploded. "You would really sue your own sister?" she shrieked, waving the papers in my face. "Are you insane?" I didn't flinch. "No, but I'm done letting you walk all over me." Her anger quickly turned to desperation. "Come on, this is ridiculous. Think about Mom and Dad. What will they say if you drag me to court over a little money?" I let out a slow breath, shaking my head. 10 grand isn't a little money, Olivia. And you're only worried about Mom and Dad now because you finally got caught. She stared at me, realization dawning in her eyes. I wasn't backing down. I wasn't letting this go. For the first time, she had no control over the situation, and she hated it. Finally, she exhaled sharply, her shoulders slumping. "Fine," she muttered. "I'll get you the money." And for once, she actually did. It took her a few weeks, and I had to threaten to file the lawsuit twice, but she finally wired the full amount to my account. No apology. No attempt to make things right. Just the bare minimum, exactly what I expected from her. I didn't bother responding. I didn't need to. The money was back where it belonged, and Olivia? She had lost something much bigger, her reputation, her golden child status, and whatever respect our family still had for her. I wish I could say this changed her, that she learned her lesson, but I knew better. Olivia would always be Olivia. But the difference now? She knew I wasn't someone she could take advantage of anymore. And as I closed my banking app, seeing the full 10 grand back in my account, I finally felt relieved.